We just witnessed one of the greatest fights of the year. Davis and Frank have been exchanging jabs at each other during their face-offs.
Fighter in mind as of right now, nothing like that, you know. I still got to process.
We all thought Davis was pushed to the edge, but his boxing IQ and skill shone through against Frank. This isn't surprising, as Tank's strategy has always been to analyze his opponent and then strike back effectively. Tank Davis continues to dominate the sport, maintaining his undefeated status and his title as the WBA lightweight world champion. Known for his powerful knockouts, Davis delivered yet another stunning performance, defeating Frank with a vicious 8th-round knockout.
Left uppercut. Down goes Martin!
The fight marked Davis's return to the ring after a 14-month hiatus. Despite the long break, he showed no signs of rust, even though he mentioned it afterwards.
Yeah, just a little rusty, but it's okay, I'm back.
Were you rusty? Did you feel it, or were you just feeling him out?
Yeah, the couple rounds, I feel as though that I ain't...
The climactic moment of the fight was masterfully set up, with Davis using an uppercut to stun Martin, leaving him defenseless for the left hook that ultimately floored him. The bout began with Martin in control, despite Davis's dramatic entrance to the Ghostbusters theme song and a playful nod to Martin's nickname in the early rounds. Martin showcased his expertise by consistently winning exchanges and maintaining a strategic distance from Davis, who is notorious for his powerful punches. Martin's tactical approach allowed him to dominate the first 3 rounds. However, the dynamics began to shift in the 4th and 5th rounds, and by the 7th round, the fight had become more evenly matched. The tide turned dramatically in Davis's favor. While Martin might have been ahead on the scorecards, it became increasingly clear that Davis's powerful punches were finding their mark, setting the stage for the inevitable knockout. Reflecting on his strategy, Davis explained, "I knew that he was going to tie down. That's what I was doing, standing there and being a target so he could tire himself out. Once he tired himself out, I started picking him apart."
I knew that he was going to tie down, so that's what I was doing. I would just stand there, be a target for him just so he could tie his...
Martin attributed his loss to a lapse in strategy rather than physical fatigue. "I felt like in the beginning I was in control, then got a little too comfortable," he admitted. "I got comfortable chilling on the ropes trying to find that bigger shot. It wasn't presenting itself. I stopped doing my movement, and once I stopped doing my movement, he was able to land more shots." Martin's acknowledgement of his missteps highlights the critical importance of constant movement and vigilance in the ring, especially against a fighter of Davis's caliber. His decision to back away and spend too much time on the ropes ultimately allowed Davis to capitalize on the opportunity to land decisive blows.
You know what I mean? Just had to break him down as the fight was going on.
While it's uncertain whether he would have emerged victorious without this tactical misstep, it's clear that it played a pivotal role in his defeat. Frank entered the ring with high expectations, but after the knockout, his future seemed uncertain. Reflecting on the fight, he suggested he might need to take a break. "It was a good fight. I think I had him, but he clearly had me. I did my best, and right now, I think I'll just go back to reassess. Even if I felt that my body was good and ready, it clearly wasn't good enough." This situation mirrors what happened to Devon after his fight with Ryan. After being dropped, Devon also spoke about taking a break to reassess his skills. Losses are part of the sport, and it's understandable to be shocked after your first defeat, especially by a smaller opponent. Frank's loss was somewhat anticipated, given the challenges he faced leading up to this fight. Despite his high hopes, his decision to take a break makes sense. Reflecting on his performance, Frank admitted his mistakes and emphasized the need for growth. "I made mistakes, did some things well, and just need to grow. I don't have a specific fighter in mind right now. I still need to process this first loss. Frank Martin entered his fight against Dan Davis with confidence, despite narrowly escaping a tough bout with Artem Haroun, where a late-round rally and a 12th-round knockdown were needed to secure a close win on the scorecards. Believing he was ready for the challenge, Frank faced a harsh reality check against Davis. Now, he must reassess and plan his next steps carefully, understanding that even the best preparation can sometimes fall short in the unpredictable world of boxing. Reflecting on his previous fight before facing Davis, Martin had already acknowledged some critics. People always judge you on your last performance, so I know that had a lot to do with him accepting the fight. I'm glad they took it. It was right up my alley, he said. He had overcome massive adversity in that fight, pushing through physical struggles and demonstrating his ability to persevere when it mattered most. I had to overcome adversity. My body was not working with me. I just had to bite down, push and dig. I had to get hit with a certain shot when it's crunch time. I can bite down and get it if I have to, he explained. Martin understood that his performance might have cost him some fans, but he remained determined. If I lost some fans, it is what it is. I'm going to keep going, come back better, and keep pushing forward. Heading into the fight against Tank Davis, the odds were stacked against Martin. Davis was a -700 betting favorite, while Martin was a +450 underdog. Despite this, Martin embraced the role of the underdog. It's more motivation than me being the guy that is supposed to take it all. I like that people are sleeping on me and calling me a cherry pick, he said, confident in his abilities. Martin believed that every fighter, including Davis, was beatable. Everyone is a beatable fighter, and they will see on June 15th that he is beatable. He makes mistakes, but he's been able to get away from other fighters. After the fight, the heartbreak and disappointment in Martin's eyes were evident. He had mentioned how this fight could be the biggest of his career, saying that beating Tank would open doors he never thought possible. There are many doors that I never thought would be open. I'm just ready to get out there and open these doors, he had promised before the fight. Despite his determination and readiness, Martin faced the harsh reality of falling short against Davis. Davis's strategic patience and powerful punches eventually overwhelmed Martin. His determination was clear in the early rounds, but he ultimately realized he wasn't skilled enough to secure the win. As for Tank, he credited his time in jail for contributing significantly to his personal growth, a journey reflected in his recent triumph in the ring. Davis's previous wins had solidified his status as one of the premier stars in the sport. However, shortly after reaching this height, he faced a different kind of challenge that took him away from the limelight and into a jail cell. Davis's legal troubles began with a 2020 hit-and-run incident that resulted in injuries to 4 individuals, including a pregnant woman. He pleaded guilty to 4 misdemeanor charges and was initially sentenced to 90 days of house arrest. However, after violating the terms of his house arrest, he was taken into custody, where he spent 44 days in jail. This period of incarceration became a turning point for Davis. He used the time to reflect on his life and career, which contributed to his personal growth and discipline. This newfound focus was evident in his strategic approach to the fight against Martin. Davis's ability to analyze his opponent and execute his game plan flawlessly highlighted his boxing IQ and maturity. His patience and powerful punches were instrumental in his victory, further cementing his status as a top fighter in the sport. For Martin, this fight served as a learning experience, underscoring the importance of constant movement and vigilance in the ring. Despite the loss, his resilience and determination suggest that he will come back stronger, ready to face new challenges and opportunities in his boxing career. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for future updates. See you in the next one.